Herkese merhabalar. Ben Emre Kara. Bain Company'nin İstanbul ofisinde consultant olarak çalışıyorum.
Ben de Merve. Bain Company İstanbul ofisinde Associate Consultant olarak çalışıyorum.
Hepinizin bildiği üzere yönetim danışmanlığı şirketlerin mülakat süreçlerinde case interview'lar gerçekten önemli bir yere sahip. Biz de Bain Company'nin İstanbul ofisi olarak sizlere faydalı olacağını düşündüğümüz bir çalışma yapmaya karar verdik. Birazdan bizim normal mülakat süreçlerimizde gerçekleştirdiğimiz bir mülakatın simülasyonunu izleyeceksiniz aslında. Ben mülakatı yapan kişiyi oynayacağım. Merve de mülakat ettiğimiz kişiyi oynayacak. Biz şirket olarak mülakat sürecimizi İngilizce olarak gerçekleştirdiğimiz için birazdan izleyeceğiniz simülasyonun dili de İngilizce olacak. Umarım hepiniz için faydalı olur. Okay, Merve, shall we start?
Sure.
Perfect. So our client is one of the consumer electronics retailers in Turkey. Their monthly revenue per store is around 5 million Turkish liras. And currently they have 40 stores across Turkey. They sell goods in 3 different categories. The first one is mobile phones, second one is computers, and third one is white goods. Their total sales grew 10% over the past 3 years, and it was in line with the market growth rate. Market was also growing at 10%, and they are happy about it. They don't see any problem in here. Their problem is indeed about their after-sales services sales. Their services sales grew 10% over the past 3 years, so 10% growth each year, but they are not happy about it. They believe that it should be more than this. That's why they approached us. They want us to increase their services sales. So my question to you is, how would you approach this problem to increase our client services sales?
Okay. So just let me recap over the information you've given me, and then I can continue with the problem. So we're talking about a consumer electronics retailer operating in Turkey with 5 million TL monthly revenue per store. They have 40 stores and products in 3 categories: mobile phones, computers, and white goods. And total sales growth of 10%, which is in line with the market, and they're fine with that. After sales services sales growth of 10%, but that's what they're unhappy about.
Exactly.
And so what I'm asked to answer at this moment is how to increase services sales.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so before I start approaching the problem, I just have one question.
Yep.
What do you mean by services sales?
Okay, so there are 2 types of services products. The first one is called protection, and second one is called extended warranty.
Okay.
So protection is sort of an insurance product. Let's say you buy a mobile phone and you also buy a protection. It means whatever happens to your phone, either you break the screen of the phone or you pour some water onto it, you can bring back the phone to one of our client stores. Either they repair the phone or replace it because you have protection. Extended warranty is more straightforward. Normally producers are giving 2 years of warranty. If you buy extended warranty, it means you are extending the duration of warranty period plus 3 years. So in total it becomes 5 years of warranty.
Okay, all right, I get that. So if you could just give me 30 seconds to frame my thoughts
Yeah,
and
sure.
think of how I'm going to approach
Sure.
this.
Go ahead.
Okay. So just to walk you through how I'm planning on approaching this in the beginning. So I've thought of 3 ways that we can approach the problem. We can look at products, pricing, and competitors. Those are the 3 things that come to me that might impact sales off the top of my head. And then under products, I thought of portfolio, which I've already asked you about. You mentioned that we have 2 products, protection and extended warranty.
Yes.
And so then I would ask you about their revenue split, so how much of our revenue comes from each of these products, and then the growth on an individual basis per product. In terms of pricing, I would ask you how we're pricing our products among themselves, so protection and extended warranty, how they're individually priced, how our products are priced against the market in general, and then I'm wondering if there's room for elasticity. So I'm thinking off the top of my head, if we can decrease price, maybe we can increase volume and generate more sales that way. And then for the competitors, I'm wondering how many we have in the market and their growth rates for after sales services.
Okay, sounds like you have a plan. Where do you want to start, Mara?
Let me just go back to products since I already have the portfolio information from you.
Okay, fine for me.
So do we know their revenue split by product?
Yes, we know. 2/3 of services sales are coming from protection, and remaining is coming from extended warranty.
Okay, so 1/3 from extended warranty. How about the growth rates for the products of sales?
So total growth rate is 10%, and the growth rates are the same for those 2 types of products.
Okay.
10% each.
So I'm ruling out growth as a potential factor that might affect our sales. For moving on to pricing, how about our pricing for these 2 products?
Let's say the pricing is 10% of the actual product. Let's say you buy a mobile phone, which is 2,000 Turkish liras, and you buy a protection, it means 10% of 2,000, which is 200 Turkish liras for that protection. And the pricing is same for extended warranty as well.
Okay, so then I'm ruling out individual pricing of the products as a factor for now again. Moving on to the market, are our products priced the same way as competitors price them? So you mentioned 10%. Is that the same in the market?
Yes, as far as we know, the pricing in the market more or less the same for those 2 types of products.
Okay.
We can assume that it's 10% each.
Okay. So then that takes me to elasticity. Since you mentioned that we're priced the same as the market, then I guess there could be room for us to decrease our price, and then we would be at an advantage in terms of pricing. Would we be able to increase our sales volume like that?
That's a very good point. But indeed, our client tried to decrease the price last year to increase the revenue. It didn't help. They also tried to increase the price, but it didn't help again.
Okay, so then I guess we can conclude that elasticity has no effect in this case. Okay, then let me move on to competitors for now. How many do we have in the market?
There are 4 other competitors in the market other than us.
Okay, and their growth rates, are they any different than ours?
Their growth rates is that 10%, let's say, like us.
So everyone's growing at the same rate for
Yes.
for this category of product.
That's true.
Okay.
Their total sales growth is 10%. Their services sales growth is 10% again.
Okay, so
like
it's all
us.
the same.
Yep.
Okay. So just looking back at what I've thought through, the only difference I see between products here is our revenue split. So then, okay, one more thing I would want to ask you in that case would be how much of our total sales is made up of these products? So we know the revenue split, but what about of overall sales?
That's a good question. I don't have that answer, but what I know is their services sales is 36 million Turkish liras for our client. Can you calculate what you asked?
Okay, so services sales is
36 million Turkish liras.
36 million TL. And I asked you about services sales over total sales. Okay. So previously you gave me the information that our total sales per store per month was 5 million TL.
That's correct.
So per store. Okay, so basically then what I would have to do is we have 36 over 5 times 12 times number of stores, which is 36 over 60, and you gave me the information that we had 40 stores in the beginning.
That's correct.
So that gives me 36 over 2,400 million. And then, well, 24 would be 1%, so 1.5% of total sales would be from services sales.
That's right. Actually, that's a very critical metric, Merve, for our client, and they call this as attachment rate. Attachment
Okay.
rate is services sales divided by total sales. Okay, Merve, just a quick question to you. If current attachment rate of our client is 1.5%, can you tell me what was the attachment rate last year?
Sure. So we have 1.5% this year then. Just assuming total sales of 100, that would mean we have 1.5 TL of sales for services sales. And you told me at the beginning that we have 10% growth for each of these. So last year's sales would be 10% lower than they are this year for each. So, I mean, basically the two would cancel out, and I can conclude that it would be 1.5% last year as well, the attachment rate. And, well, okay, I mean, that basically tells me that attachment rate hasn't increased at all. We have no improvement there, which might account for the client's unhappiness about their services sales right now.
Yes, that's totally correct. That's why they are not happy about their services sales performance. Their current attachment rate is 1.5%. It was the same last year.
Mm-hmm.
Their aim is to actually double it in 3 years.
Okay, so we have a goal of doubling attachment rates.
Yes.
So in 3 years?
Yes.
In 3 years.
In 3 years to double it.
Okay, so basically they want a 3% attachment rate in the next 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
So that's an increase of 0.5 per year if we go linear.
That's true.
Okay, so then let me just go back to my original framework and tie in this new information.
Mm-hmm.
So now we have this attachment rate. And just looking at what I've thought through here, I would automatically go to competitors because I asked you about their growth rates and you said they're not different.
Mm-hmm.
But how about their attachment rates?
Okay. I told you that there are 4 other competitors.
Mm-hmm.
3 of them have a 1.5% attachment rate like us, but there is one competitor in the market which has 3% attachment rate.
Okay, so we have one competitor with 3%. Okay, that's some interesting information. So what you're telling me, or at least what I could derive from this, is that there's room for us to increase to 3%, which is the goal of the client in the first place.
Yep.
Okay, so then the next thing I would look at is how to increase service sales to match this competitor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So then can I just have some time to think through that again?
Yeah, sure. Just take your time. Let's just try to figure out that what could be the potential drivers of that difference.
Between us and the competitor.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Okay. Again, so I've just thought through some basic ideas, and then I'm thinking we can go from there if nothing comes of them. So for attachment rate, the three things I could think of were price, but you already mentioned that our prices are the same.
Yeah.
So I would automatically rule that out. Which leaves me with products and geography. So just starting from geography, what I would hypothesize is that maybe the competitor has more stores in affluent areas, and so they might be generating more sales from customers with more money in their pocket. Do we have any information about that?
Yes, we have, and we can assume that geographically there is no difference between our stores and that competitor's stores. And also in terms of number of stores, we can assume that it's more or less the same.
Okay, so then, as with price, I would conclude that geography seems to be a dead end for now. Just going back to products then, you mentioned that the portfolio is the same, so the competitor for sure doesn't offer anything different than ours. Okay, so same
Yes,
portfolio.
in terms of portfolio, we have same kind of products in terms of services.
What about, so the products themselves, are they the same? Like you mentioned, we sell a 3-year extended warranty. Could it be the case that the competitor sells 4 years?
No, in terms of the scope of the product, it's more or less the same.
Okay, so I'm saying same features for the product.
Yeah, there's no differentiation.
Okay, so then that's also a dead end. Then I guess I would also maybe look at how they generate revenue from these products. Like we know we get 2/3 of our revenue from protection and 1/3 from extended warranty. So that would translate to 1% attachment rate from protection and 0.5 from extended warranty. Is that the case for the competitor?
No, the product split for services sales of that competitor is different. Their protection attachment rate is 2.5%, and their extended warranty attachment rate is 0.5%.
So 2.5% AR from protection. 0.5 from extended warranty. Okay. So extended warranty is actually the same as our 0.52. So then what they're driving their sales from is actually protection sales. They have 1.5% higher attachment rate from protection. So my advice then would be for us to focus on increasing sales of protection products specifically.
Okay, that sounds like a good idea. And what do you think? Which category is easier to sell protection?
Well, just going back to the 3 categories of mobile phones, computers, and white goods, I would say mobile phones because we carry them on us, we drop them, they're more prone to wear and tear. So yeah, mobile phones.
Yeah, exactly. What we found out is that that competitor's strategy is basically focusing on protection sales in mobile phones department just because of the reason you just told me.
Okay, great. So then, I mean, just tying into that, I would obviously just as a more specific recommendation say that we should also increase our focus on increasing mobile phones protection sales.
Okay, Mara, that's a good strategy. I have a follow-up question for you. We just agreed on that our client's ambition next year is to increase attachment rate 0.5%, right?
Right.
Okay, if that's our ambition, and if we just focus on increasing protection attachment rate in mobile phones department, keeping all others the same, our only main focus is going to be on protection sales in mobile phones. So to increase total attachment rate 0.5% next year, how much should we increase protection attachment rate in mobile phones?
Okay. Okay. So you want a 0.5% increase in total, but you want that to just come from mobile phone protection.
Exactly.
Okay, so we have 3 categories: mobile phones, computers, and white goods. So then my question for you would be, do we have these two products for all three of these categories? Protection and
Yes, we
extended
do.
warranty?
Yes, we do.
Okay. Okay. Then my next question would be, how is the breakdown for these three categories of revenue?
Yes, we have that information. 50% of total sales coming from mobile phones,
Okay, 50.
30% from computers,
Mm-hmm.
and 20% from white goods.
Okay. All right, so I have the category information. And then another thing I don't know is, okay, so I know that 1% of attachment rate in total is for protection
Mhm.
and 0.5 for extended warranty.
Mhm.
But how is that across these products?
We can assume that it's the same across those categories. So
Okay,
1%.
so 1 and 0.5 for
Exactly.
each. Okay, I'm keeping these the same anyway, so I don't need to expand on that. But we have 1% here for mobile phone protection rates,
Mhm.
and you want to increase a total of 0.5%.
Mhm.
Mobile phones account for 50% of total revenue, so to increase by 0.5, I would need to double that to account for half the revenue. So I would need to increase to 2% a year,
Mhm.
1% increase.
Okay, perfect. So you're telling me that if we apply that strategy, focusing on protection sales in mobile phones, and if we double the protection attachment rate in mobile phones right now, then our client can hit their ambition in 3 years
Right.
if they continue that
Exactly.
way, right?
Yep.
Okay. I mean, it sounds like a good strategy to me to focusing more on protection sales in specifically mobile phones department. I mean, I guess we can recommend that to our client. But what do you think? What could be the specific actions that our clients need to take to increase specifically protection sales in mobile phones department? Let's just discuss qualitatively, and let's just try to come up with good 3-4 ideas so that we can recommend to our client.
Okay, sure. So just things that we can do to increase mobile phone protection sales. Okay, just off the top of my head, I guess one of the first ones I would think of is increasing advertising for the product.
Yeah.
Particularly.
What do you mean by advertising?
Well,
specifically?
particularly in store, because I know that, I don't usually see advertisements of like protection or extended warranty. We usually just are exposed to advertisements of the product itself.
Mhm.
But maybe in store we could place advertising so that once you buy the phone or in the area where you buy the phone, there's an ad for the protection products, or like maybe a picture of a broken phone so that you're worried about what might
Mhm.
happen to your phone once you've bought it.
Okay, that's a good idea. That's one. What else would you do?
Okay, so in-store advertising. Just tied to the in-store environment, maybe we could also train the sales reps so that they focus specifically on these products. They know everything about them, and they're specifically instructed to try to sell one with every phone sale.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I would mention training sales reps.
That's good.
On top of that, I guess, I'm assuming the client tracks performance of these sales reps. And
Yes, they do.
okay, so if they don't track on a product basis, then what we could do is we could increase these performance metrics and the specificity of them. And
But normally they have some key performance metrics that they are tracking,
mhm.
but it's, let's say, more about their total sales. They don't have any split in those KPIs.
Right, exactly. So I would specifically recommend maybe tracking these services sales on a product by product basis specifically, so that yes, we have a total attachment rate for the firm, but then we can generate one for sales reps too.
Okay,
So
that's good. I agree with you. It's
performance tracking.
really powerful to monitor those metrics individually and specifically for those type of products. That would help. I agree.
Okay.
What else?
And then I guess again, like once we finish tracking their performance, we could incentivize them, give them commission based on their sales of these products specifically.
Okay. I like that idea. I mean, incentivizing the sales people based on their services sales would be really efficient. But just a quick question to you then. What kind of incentive system would you think of to apply for our client?
Well, I mean, I don't know the way they're currently incentivized, but off the top of my head, I would probably recommend a percentage of the sale of the product. So, I don't know, like 1% of the protection would then go back to them as a bonus or as an incentive.
Okay, that's a good idea to give them percentage of their sales. But then, how would you decide on the optimal level? For instance, is it 1%, is it 5%, or is it 50% of their sales? How would you decide?
Okay. So, I mean, since we're going to apply the same percentage to all of the sales reps, and since we have 40 stores, maybe we could just try different percentages in different stores for a short period.
Mm-hmm.
And then, obviously, I mean, the more we increase it, the more they would sell.
Mm-hmm.
But we would have to optimize the balance between how much we're giving out to them, to the sales reps, and then how much extra sales they're generating. So I would see what percentage is doing that the best.
Okay, perfect. I like that as well. Okay, let's say that we have a meeting with our client in 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So what is our recommendation? What should we tell our client? Can you just give me 30 seconds executive summary, please?
Okay, sure. So we were asked to figure out how we can increase service sales. And what we did first was we linked that to attachment rates. And we figured out that to increase those, what we would need to do is focus our efforts on increasing mobile phone protection sales specifically. And in order to achieve that, we came up with 4 core recommendations. First would be to increase advertising in store of these products.
Mm-hmm.
The second, to train our sales reps specifically to sell these products.
Mm-hmm.
The third, to track performance of sales reps on a product level so that we can see how much they're selling.
Mm-hmm.
And then the fourth would be to optimize the incentive system so that they receive the appropriate amount of incentivization for these protection sales.
Okay, perfect. Thanks a lot, Maria.
Thank you.